Within this lesson, we'll look at multiplication of whole numbers with area models. Here I have the problem 35 times 37. And what we will do is we will go ahead and make an area model where it is that we'll go ahead and look at 35 here and 37. What we'll do though is that we will break 35 and 37 into their unit form, where by place value, where it is that we're looking at 3 tens and 5 ones for 35. So that's 30 along with 5. We'll see it a little more clearly in just a second here. And 37 and also into its parts, where it is that we have 30 and then we have 7. Again, we're using an area model here. So if we look at it again, we broke apart the two factors, 35, 30 with 5, and 37, 37. We decomposed both of those numbers, so if we look within our area model, this is 30 times 30, which is 900. The area for this one right here would be 30 times 7, write that in, which is 210. The area here is 30 times 5, which is 150. And finally 7 times 5, which is 35. We have each of those partial products that will make up our product. All we need to do is we need to add those amounts together. 900, 210, 150, 35. Carefully adding those together, we get 5. 1 plus 5 is 6, plus 3 is 9. And then we have 9 plus 2 is 11, plus 1 is 12. And so the product is 1,295. 35 times 37 equals 1,295. Your turn to try. 81 times 26 will help you to write out the area model, except we'll go ahead and allow you to go ahead and compute it, to figure it out. So here's the area model, where it is that we have 81 broken down into 80 and 1, and 26 broken down into 20 and 6. Go ahead and write out the products within each. And when you are done doing that, remember to add them together. Pause that video. Did you get 80 times 20 within this first box? It's 2 zeros. 8 times 2 is 16. We have 80 times 6, which is 480 here. And then 20 times 1, which is 20, and 6 times 1, which is 6. We'll add those amounts together. In one place is 6, 8 plus 2 is 10, 0 regroup a 1, 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 1 is 11, 1 regroup a 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So that our product is 2,106. Look over your work. Area models still work the same way, even if you're dealing with a 3-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. So we'll break apart 413 and decompose it. That's 4 hundreds. And then what? We have 10 followed by 3. And then we're multiplying by 25. So we get 20, and we get 5. $400 times 20, which equals 8,000. 400 times 5, four times 5 is 20, followed by 2 more zeros. 20 times 10, which is 200. 5 times 10, which is 50. 20 times 3, which is 60. And 5 times 3, which is 15. We'll go ahead and add these separately, just to make things just a little easier. 200 plus 60 is 260, plus 50 is 310, plus 15 more is 325. Go ahead and record that. And then we have 8,000 and 2,000. 8,000 and 2,000 more is 10,000. So we have 10,000 plus 325, which will be 10,325, and that's our product. So when we had 2 digits by 2 digits, we had 4 total boxes and 4 numbers to add together. We had 3 digits by 2 digits. We actually have 6 numbers to not only figure out, but also 6 numbers to add together. Here we'll show a standard algorithm approach for 456 times 53. For 456 times 53, we'll start with the 3 here, where we're going 3 times those 6 ones, which equals 18 ones. And notice where it is that I put the regroups. I would record the 8 in the ones place, and then I would regroup right there. Next, I have 3 times that 5 tens, which is 15 tens, plus that one other 10 from my 3 times 6 earlier, which is 16 tens. So I'll record the 6 here, cross out the regroup because I did use it, and then I'll regroup again. 3 times 4, which is 3 times 4 hundreds, which is 12 hundreds, plus 1 hundred from the regroup is 13 hundreds. So I'll record a 3, and then I can go ahead and place the 1 there. Next, I'll be working with 5 tens, and then so I'll place a 0 as a placeholder first. 5 times 6 is 30, and that's 30 there. So place a 0 and regroup the 3. Next, that's 50 times 50, which would actually be 25 hundreds, plus the 3 hundreds that I regrouped is 28 hundreds. That's why I place an 8 and regroup a 2. And then finally, I have 5 times 4, which is 20, plus 2, which is 22. And I would have been working in the thousands place because that would have been 400 times 50. That's why it is that I can do those things within that standard algorithm. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 2 is 4. I've got that 2 there, 24,168. This does connect back over to the area model, and I'll show you an area model for this problem. Move things around a little bit. Give me some room to go ahead and make my area model. So we have 400 to begin with. and then we have 50, and then 450, and then we have 6. We have 53, broken down and decomposed into 50 and 3. Within each of these, within the area model, first I have 400 times 50. That's 5 times 4, which is 20, followed by 1, 2, 3 zeros. 400 times 3. 3 times 4 is 12, and we're talking about 12 hundreds, which is 1,200. 50 times 50. 5 times 5 is 25, followed by 2 more zeros. 3 times 50 is 150. That's 3 times 5 tens, which is 15 tenths, which is 150. 50 times 6, which is 300. And finally, 3 times 6, which is 18. Carefully adding these together, I have 20,000 and 1,200, which is 21,200. 300 plus 150 is 450, plus 2,500 is 2,950. And lastly, I have 18. Of course, you could just write them all out, the 6 addends, and then carefully add them. But in some instances, as long as you can do so accurately, it helps to use some mental math to be able to solve it and work through it. 24,168 computed with that area model matches my standard algorithm approach. You try with both an area model and the standard algorithm. 218 times 23. Did you set up the area model correctly? Where it is that you broke apart and decomposed 218 and 23. What sort of values did you place within here? 200 times 20. 4, followed by 3 more zeros. 200 times 3, which is 600. 200 times 10, which is 200. 10 times 3, which is 30. 8 times 20, which is 160. 8 times 3, which is 24. And then you'd have to carefully add them together. I wrote them out. Look at them again just to make sure that I copied them down correctly. And then carefully add them. 9, 11 in the tens place there. 1 plus 6 is 7, plus 2 is 9, plus 1 more is 10. 0, regroup a 1, and 1 plus 4 is 5. 5,014 as my product. Here's my standard algorithm approach of 218 times 23. First off, 3 times 8 ones is 24 ones, so I'll place the 4 and regroup the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. 3 times 2 is 6. That's 3 times 200 is 600s, and that's why it is I can place that there. Next, I'm working with this 2, which is worth 20. So we have 20 times 8 ones, which will give us 160. So I'll place the 0, and then I'll place the 6 there, and that means I will regroup the 1. Look at that, that's 160, just like I had stated. The next one to figure out is 2 times 1, which is 2, plus that 1, which is 3, and 2 times 2, which is 4. That'd be the 20 times the 200, which is 4,000. Just want to figure it out there. Carefully adding them together. 4, 1, 1, 0, 1, 5,014. Just like I had figured out earlier with that area model.